feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright. Echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? We're back from not the hottest place in the southern hemisphere. It is not today. We're back to being normal temperatures down in Melbourne, but the fires are still raging down here, unfortunately. Almost the entire of Melbourne is surrounded by fire still. So it is not safe as of yet. It is still a little crazy. There was a lot of smoke in the air over the last night, and there is still an absolute ton of fires ringing around Melbourne. There is just everywhere. I'll show you guys quickly before we get started for the night. There is fires everywhere. You guys can see the blocks of them. So this is the big one, the Longwood fire. There's the Walwar one up here. This is on the border. There's another one here that is stressing people out. There's a bunch over here. There's one here south of Colac. There's another one here not far from Geelong. There's another one over here near Ballarat. There's another one up here south of Bendigo. And there's another one up here near Cobram. So, and there's a couple more in the far west of Victoria too. Another one up here, another one near Horsham. There is just fires surrounding the state right now. And then all the way over here, there's a bunch more in these yellow boxes near Malakuta. There's a whole heap. So the whole state is like on fire right now. There is just fires everywhere. Just everywhere. It is a little crazy. A little crazy. Guys, good to see you. Good to be back. What started all these fires? Some of them were started accidentally. Some of them were started with like arson maybe, and some of them were from dry lightning. So some of them were started by thunderstorms that dropped lightning and then made more fires as they went through. Unfortunately, just sometimes every few years we end up with a bad fire season, and that's what's going on right now in Victoria. It's just life living in Australia. Unfortunately, we all grew up with knowing about bushfires and living around them, and this summer in Victoria we're just getting smacked by fires, unfortunately. But we're going to talk about true crime, and tonight I have an Australian mystery, an actual mystery. You guys like mysteries, and maybe you can help solve it. If you can help solve it, you'll be a hero. You'll be a hero. Maybe you've got some great ideas. And funny enough, the woman we're going to talk about tonight, her name is Trisha Graf. And funny because we have our own Trisha, but we have a different Trisha we're going to talk about tonight. And this one's a bit weird. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the story for a long time, for about a week or so now, and I thought, oh, they're going to figure it out. This is probably just someone who's wandered off and succumbed to the elements in the outback. So tonight, I'm going to take you back out to South Australia, back into the rural, deserty area of SA where we were not long ago for that missing young boy. Well, we're back into the same area again. So if you remember when we did that one, that was that missing little kid with the great hair. Well, we're back into the same sort of geological area in South Australia. Now, the woman we're going to concentrate on tonight, I'm going to show you some photos. Like I said, her name is Trisha, and this is some photos of her. This is Trisha. She is 41 years old. She's a mum of two, and the last time anyone has seen her was 2 a.m. on December 12th. Now, we'll get into sort of the small details about where she went missing and how she went missing and who saw her and all those types of things. But I just want to give you the sort of baseline, okay? Now, her car collided with a kangaroo in her vehicle, like when she was driving, after leaving a local hotel. Her shoes were located by her abandoned vehicle inside of it. So they found a pair of thongs inside of her abandoned vehicle, which sounds weird, right? If you're walking around and it's really hot, look, you can see in the photo, she's wearing flip flops, or as Aussies call them, thongs. If you're wearing those, you would you would continue to wear them. It's hot. The concrete is hot. The surrounding area, everything's very hot in South Australia. You would wear them. Why would you leave them in the car? So a few things here don't add up, but there's more. There's some more to it. But what I can tell you is South Australian police have designated her disappearance a major crime. And that's a really big deal. That means that the authorities believe something has happened here and that they need to activate a task force. And that's what they're doing. They're activating all their assets to try and find this woman. So it's been designated a major crime. And they're saying here that they believe it is suspicious. So we got this sort of true crime bingo going on. Major crime, suspicious, someone being missing, and things that are not adding up, like her shoes being found in this vehicle. It's not only that, they found her vehicle in a very strange location. And I'm going to show you some photos of it a little bit later. And I'm going to ask you what you think about it, because personally, I think, who would put their car there? And I'm going to show you where the car is, and it looks bizarre, I promise. There's sort of two parts to it. The car hit the kangaroo, but then when they found the car later on, when they found her thongs in it, the car had more damage to the front of the vehicle, but they don't know how it got damaged or why it got damaged. And that's something they'd like to know more about. Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think they think that she just hit her head and wandered off. This was December 12th. That's a while ago now. We're coming up in a couple of days to a month of her being missing. So I'll give you the sort of flat details, and then I want you to watch the press conference from SA Police. They're saying here, Trisha was at the Roxby Downs Hotel at 12:19 a.m. on Friday, the 12th of December. She left a short time later and was driving a white 2012 Ford Territory with an SA registration, and the SA registration is S254BCX, and she was accompanied by a friend. And it says here that she collided with a kangaroo after leaving the hotel and driving from Roxbury Downs. And then they went to a town called, I'm going to try and pronounce this, it's Endamuka. So Endamuka, Roxby Downs to Endamuka. And they're saying the collision occurred near the Endamuka township, and authorities are saying it seems odd because the kangaroo didn't cause any damage to the vehicle, or very minor damage, but when they came upon her vehicle, they found it like this, with no signs of her, and they found her thongs inside of the car. And you look around in the background and you go, it's not a place I would be walking around without some sort of foot covering or a shoe. I wouldn't be going barefoot around here. Could be snakes, could be glass, metal, all sorts of things in the ground. And then you look at the front of the car and you go, that's a pretty, like, what happened to the front of that vehicle? And if you sort of pay attention to the minor things, the hell is this giant pipe here that seems to be poking into the car? And how did that get there? Or how did the car get there? Also, apparently the car is sort of a little bit wedged. This mound that it's on is sort of wedging the car in place. So it's a little strange. Very, yeah, signpost, whatever it is, but why is it there? It's a little bizarre. Then you got more damage to the front of the vehicle. I mean, I think it's all a bit weird. So we're looking for Trisha. Not the one from Web Sleuths. We're looking for one from the Australian outback. We're looking for this Trisha. Different age, younger lady, different hair color, and this one has tattoos. So this one's got a few tattoos on the shoulder and on the arm. This is who we're looking for. And I want to hear your opinions after we listen to the press conference. So I want you to watch it, and then I want to hear what you think they're trying to sort of, what kind of message are they putting out to the public? Because, when they do these press conferences, they are always trying to speak to someone. So who are they trying to speak to? And what do you think? What kind of message are they putting out to the public and to maybe someone else? Maybe to a different person. All right.
Or is Detective Superintendent Darren Filkey, Officer in Charge of Major Crime Investigation Branch. Got you all together here today to give you an update on the disappearance of Trisha Graf, at Andamuka. So at about 11 a.m. on Friday, the 12th of December last year, police were advised that Trisha Graf, 41 years old, of Andamuka, had failed to return home after a night out with friends. She was reported missing at about that time to the Roxby Downs police station by a family member. Trisha was last seen between around 1:50 a.m. and 2 a.m. on the 12th of December on Dunstan Drive at Andamuka after leaving a female friend's address in her vehicle, which was a white Ford Territory sedan registered S for Sierra 254BCX. Around midday on Friday, the 12th of December, Trisha's partner and a friend of his was out searching for Trisha, and they located her vehicle positioned on a mound or a rise near Blue Dam, about 4 kilometres to the eastern side of the Andamuka township. Since that time, police and other resources have conducted an extensive search of the area on foot. The dam has been searched by police divers. Polair has been involved in aerial searching, and we've also utilised the capability of specialised drone equipment to assist with the search. These searches have failed to locate any remains or any trace of Trisha, and we've only recently, in the last day or two, been able to finalise the analysis of the specialised drone footage, which has still shown that we haven't been able to locate Trisha. This is highly unusual and particularly out of character for her. Police are now treating the disappearance of Trisha as suspicious, and we hold grave concerns for her welfare. Police do not believe that Trisha has merely wandered off from the location of her vehicle near Blue Dam. As a result, today, the disappearance of Trisha Graf has been declared a major crime, and investigations from now will be undertaken by major crime detectives. The terms of the declaration will also provide commitment from other areas within SAPOL to assist with the investigation, and clearly Major Crime are set up and experienced in terms of handling these types of investigations in the situation that we're in and the circumstances that are presented to us. To date, as part of this investigation, or part of the missing person investigation, police have spoken to a number of people both in Andamuka and in Roxby Downs who have assisted piecing together the movements of Trisha prior to her disappearance. This information to date has proved very helpful, and we'll be looking for further information in due course. Police are aware that Trisha did travel to Roxby Downs the night before, on Thursday the 11th of December, with a female friend, and they did attend at the Roxby Downs Hotel for a period of time. She was in company with other people at the Roxby Downs Hotel, and she left the hotel at around 12:20 a.m. In the early hours of the 12th of December, and travelled back to Andamuka with her friend. Trish was last seen wearing black tights, a black singlet with a light coloured motif on the front, and you'll see a picture of her on the screen to my right. And she also had a pair of black thongs on, and you'll see that she has quite a large tattoo on her right upper and lower arm. Police are still seeking to speak with anyone who may have seen Trisha or seen her vehicle, either at the Roxby Downs Hotel or in Andamuka. These people may have information that will assist with this investigation. I encourage anyone who has information that may assist police in the lead up to Trisha's disappearance, or anyone who knows any information post Trisha's disappearance, and that might assist the investigation, to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. And I remind people that they can remain anonymous. Happy to take some questions.
All right, let's stop it there for the minute. What do you think so far? What do you think they're pointing at? Because I've got a couple of ideas, and I want to see if anyone else has the same idea as Ping. But first, I want to show you a bit more about the car, okay? So they told you that the car was located. Here's a rear view of where the car was located. Oh, there we go. So you can see it possibly came through here and went through these pipes and then settled on this sort of bank that they were talking about, where the car became sort of stuck. It sort of became wedged on that pile of mound of dirt and things. So it's over here, and you know, if there was someone here that was waiting for help, or to have someone pick them up, you'd probably see them. There's nothing too far away that's any higher than one story on a house. Everything's very, very close to the ground. So if there was someone hanging around here, if Trisha was here, they would be able to see her. But she's not there. They've used drones, dogs, they've had people searching. No sign of Trisha. Montana said, how far back from the took hit, or the roof hit, from where the car ended up? Pretty far away, because if I'm judging the timeline correctly, it was a bit further back from what I understand. They were driving from Roxby Downs to Endamuka, and I'll see if I can show you like how far away that is. It's not close together. Yeah, give me 1 second. So Roxby Downs is right here, and the hotel is within this town. So if you were going to leave and then head to Endamuka, it's all the way over here, about 32 kilometers, or about 23 minutes by driving on this road, and then you end up over here. So this is just very basic. This is not where the car was found. It's just town to town. So you'd end up here at Endamuka. Now, if you hit a roo out here, I mean, there's probably a lot of wildlife that run across the roads, not just kangaroo. There's probably other, snake and I don't know what other type of wildlife live out here, but there's probably a few. And as you can see, they're not super close. About 20 minutes, 23 minutes if you go down that road and then up to here. So they are not round the corner. It is a bit of a drive. So let me have a look. Gayla said, where was her friend when she went missing? That's a good question. It's a good question that I don't have the answer to. They said the collision that she hit the roo occurred near the Endamuka township. So how far is near? I don't know. But if you just say it was coming into the town, so it could have been somewhere around here, you're a few minutes out. So it could be anywhere from this bend, I would say, if they're saying near. So somewhere around here possibly. And as you can see, there's nothing out here. It is the same situation that we had as the little boy. There's nothing out here that you could, look, I'm showing you the ground nearby, either side of the road. It is not much, just mining. That's what this looks like, a mining thing here. These look like mining shafts that you can see. It looks like exploratory drilling. That's what these holes look like. So if you don't know anything about mining, they'll often drill these holes to check what's in the soil. So they'll drill down and they'll take a sample and they'll see, is there any gold, is there any opal, that type of thing. And you can see there's quite a lot. So someone's been doing a bit of mining out here. You can see a whole heap of them. That's about the only thing nearby. Other than that, not much on that road. So no cameras, probably nothing we can rely on like that. Let me go here. So let me go down here. Yeah, after striking the kangaroo, Trisha and her friend continued on to Endamuka, where they visited a home in northwestern area of the town. After a short time, Trisha left just before 2 a.m. to travel the short distance home. Trisha was last seen driving along Dunstan Drive in Endamuka. So let's go out to Dunstan Drive. It should be pretty easy to find because there's only like a handful of roads. Where is it? What did they say? Dunstan? Where are you, road? Yeah. So this is the road where she lived, and that's where she was trying to get to. Now, are they telling us where they found the truck? Blue Dam, east of Endamuka. Okay. So she wanted to go here, Dunstan Drive, and she ended up at Blue Dam. Let's see if I can find, yeah, over here. So here's Blue Dam. They found her vehicle over here. Somewhere around here. Let's see if we can find, is there a place with those? The picture's not good enough, but I'm guessing there's somewhere here with a bunch of pipes that she ran onto. Let's have a look. Anything look similar? How on earth would you get this might be where they found that car. That looks similar to the mound is what they were calling it, like a mound. I'm just having a look. Yeah, maybe there, right there. Because I can't figure out where else she would go. That looks very similar. I don't know because I can't get down to street level, but possibly it's right here. And so yeah, she's quite a far away from home. So if we zoom out, there's the dam, there's the town, and there's the road, Dunstan Drive, where she wanted to go. But they found the car all the way out here. It's all a bit strange. If she just wanted to go home and go to bed at 2 a.m. in the morning, why would she be at the dam? It's very strange. Yeah, it is close to Opal territory. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, it is a little bit remote. Yeah, no witnesses, no cameras. There'll be nothing out here like that. Yeah, it is in the totally opposite direction to where she was trying to go to. Um, So Graf's partner and friend went on to look for her at around midday on December 12 before locating the missing woman's Ford Territory, which was perched on a dirt mound near the Blue Dam east of Endamuka, which I think that might be where we showed you, but it could be wrong. But it is somewhere around that dam. The vehicle had accident damage caused by the collision with the kangaroo and was unable to be driven because of its location on the dirt mound. So, getting it onto that mound, it could not be removed on its own. So, if you were driving that car, you wouldn't be able to move it. Police and state emergency service carried out an initial ground search and aerial search looking for Graf, but they did not locate her. And they're saying here that authorities have grave concerns for her welfare. Um, Her thongs were found with her vehicle, and they're saying we would have expected to locate her if she had simply wandered off a short distance from the vehicle. Well, I reckon that makes sense because why would you leave your shoes if you're walking around a dam at 2 a.m. in the morning? There's probably no lights out here or anything. And if you're wandering around outside this dam at 2 a.m., there could be snakes and other things, glass, who knows? Why would you not grab your thongs if you're going to go for a walk while trying to get help, trying to notify someone that you've crashed the car onto here? And like they said, if she was around here, they would have found her because, like you guys can see, there's nothing here other than the dam. It is basically desert. There's nothing out here, few trees, some water, and that's it. There's nothing else. There's a mining shaft thing here for mining, and that's about it. That's the closest thing to the dam is that mining area. Out this way, nothing. Go north, nothing. There's just nothing out here. So she's a while if that is her and if she put the car there, she's a while away from her home. Yeah, like you guys can see, there's Opal businesses out here. So people either buy, sell, or mine opal. So these all look like opal mining. So you can see it all. This is all probably opal mining. People trying to look for nice opal. If you've ever watched Opal Hunters, that show from Discovery, you might know about it from Australia. But yeah, Dunstan Drive is where she wanted to go, and her car was found in a dam. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Hey, my friend, how are you? It is good to see you. Thank you for that, and thank you for giving away 5 memberships. That is very kind. I hope you're all having a good night, including Moonlight View. She's very sweet. It's very, very sweet of her to do that. I hope the people who get those memberships enjoy them and say thank you to Moonlight View. It's very kind. Um, I don't think it's an alien abduction. I don't think aliens came down. I don't think we're playing the alien game with this one. All right. I want you to listen to some of the questions from the press conference, okay? Because they're quite interesting. I don't know how many we can hear though. Hold on. All right.
Look, we've undertaken extensive searching in and around the area of Andamuka, out at Blue Dam, in and around Roxby Downs. We've spoken to a number of people in those communities. We've been able to piece together Trisha's movements. We've only recently, as I said, analysed the data that's come back from the aerial searching, and we expected to find Trisha as a result of that. We haven't found her. It's highly unusual. It's totally out of character. It would have been premature to declare it a major crime before now, but we do believe that the circumstances surrounding her disappearance are suspicious.
What caused the delay in analysing the drone vision?
So that just takes time. It's technical pieces of equipment. We have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. It's not something that we rush in circumstances like this. So the passage of time just says that we need to be thorough in how we analyse that data before we take the investigation further.
Can you tell us a little bit about Trisha? Why is it unusual, out of character for her to disappear? Is she a mother? Is she in constant contact with her children? Does she have a job?
Yeah, sure. She is a resident at Andamuka with her partner. She has 2 young children who reside with her at Andamuka. They go to school in Andamuka. For all intents and purposes, she's a very good mother to those children. Clearly, we've looked through the house at Andamuka. The house is clean. It's in pristine condition. She's obviously a very house-proud person. So it is out of character for her not to be in contact with her children and not to be in contact with her partner. Her bank account's not having been touched. So she just doesn't disappear from Andamuka. She's lived there for some time. And the location of where her car was is also unusual. It's not an area that we know that Trisha regularly frequents. So there's a number of circumstances around that make it suspicious.
It's interesting that her thongs were found in the car. Does she have other shoes on her? And when she was last seen driving along that Dunstan Drive, did she come with anyone?
No, she left Dunstan Drive alone from her friend's place to drive back to her home address, which is less than 2 kilometres away. And the next time we find the vehicle is out near Blue Dam. And we don't know that she had any other shoes with her, but her thongs were located near the vehicle or next to the vehicle when the vehicle was found by her partner.
How can police confidently say she didn't just wander off?
Well, the terrain, the conditions, the geographical area, if she had just wandered off, we would expect that she would have had shoes on, her thongs on. We don't believe she had any other shoes with her. It's about a 4-kilometre walk back into Andamuka from where the car was located. We've searched the area thoroughly. There is a mine shaft about 1.5 kilometres from where the car is. That mine shaft has been searched. There's no trace of Trisha in that mine shaft. And we would think that if she was to walk anywhere in those conditions, she would at least have her shoes on. As you're aware, we've also searched the dam. Police divers have cleared that dam and she is not there.
I think in the initial releases that it appeared that the car wouldn't start. Is that correct? And what did police make of that?
The car, not that it wouldn't start, the car was found in a position such that the wheels didn't get any traction on the mound. We might have a photograph of that coming up. So it's not that it wouldn't start. It was almost, in some ways, it was bogged, although you'll see that it wasn't. It was just in a position where it couldn't get any traction over that mound. So the accident damage that you see on the front left of the vehicle there, that was as a result of Trisha colliding with a kangaroo on her way back from Roxby Downs to Andamuka in the early hours of the morning. We're satisfied with that version of events because she had her friend with her who also corroborated that. So that's
what I like with this press conference is they seem to be like, we can confirm everything up until she went to that property in Andamuka. Whatever happened after that, they don't seem all that comfortable in confirming anything as being factual. You notice that in the press conference, he's quite happy to say, yep, She had someone with her. We can confirm that. But anything about the timeline from 2 a.m. onwards, they are not sure, and they are not confirming anything. So, how her car got to the dam? Was she even in the car at the dam? That's another question I want to know, because I don't think they will be able to tell us. But how do you know for sure she was even in the car? It's very possible that someone took the car and dumped it there. It's possible that she's not even in that location. She could be back in Demuka somewhere. It seems like let's play like the two sides of the coin here. The first one is, for whatever reason, she went out to the dam, the car got stuck on the mound, and she's gone off to look for help and succumbed in the elements. All right. They don't believe that's the case, but let's just say that that's the story. The other side of the coin is someone's taken it out there to throw the scent off wherever whatever happened to this woman happened. And they've taken it out there to throw searches off the other location. And they've just driven it out to whatever place they could find nearby and dumped the car. Because that's what like it sort of seems like to me. It almost seems like someone's gone, oh crap, now we have to get rid of a car. Where can we take it that's not near here? And they've gone, okay, let's take it out. There's a dam out there. Let's take it out to the dam. And they've taken it out to the place, and they've made up a bit of a story. They've gone, okay, if we drive it over this thing and make it look like it's stuck, then we can, make it look like she did that, and then she's gone for a walk and died in the desert. Yeah, it's very, very strange. This woman hasn't been seen in almost a month. Do you think this woman, only a 4K walk, she could walk back to town if she wanted to? She could. I've walked 3K, 4K. I'm sure she could too. Do you think this woman of 2 kids would miss Christmas with her children for any reason? I don't think so. Like you heard in the press conference, she's a good mom. She's very good to her children and family. I don't think she would miss Christmas Day for anything. So I think that's very, very odd, and that the only reason she could have missed it is if someone caused her to miss it. So Chipmunk said 2 vehicles and hers left. That makes sense. They had something to do with her missing. It could be that whole story about her leaving at 2 a.m. is not even true. You cannot believe anything anyone tells you in this about, we always talk about timelines. You cannot trust timelines from anyone. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's the town bishop, and you're like, well, it's the bishop of the town, he never lies. Nope. You can't take timelines from anyone, because you don't know who has a vested interest in manipulating that timeline. So that 2 a.m. thing, I'm not even 100% certain of it, and I wouldn't believe it either. Yeah, 1 or 2 hours. Okay. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, and you're like, I've done something stupid, and when I was drunk and I decided to crash me car on a mound, and there's no one around to get help. I don't have my phone or something. Oh, I might have to walk to find help. There's 2 things you could do. Hang out in your car until daylight and wait until it's bright enough for you to see, and then go and try and walk back to town. It only takes, like Sean said, 1 to 2 hours, depending on how fast you walk. Or you could try it in the middle of the night, but I doubt. I think the smarter choice would have been just to sleep in the car and wait for someone to either find you, or you could then have the daylight to guide you back to the town. you would have been found. Someone would come and get the car. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, I want to know, was there any other tire tracks around the vehicle? The problem is this site is fairly well frequented. So even if you had tire tracks around her car, how can you tell that they were there at the time? Like, how can you tell they're related to her car being there? You can't, because you don't know when they were put there. There's no way to know, but it would be an interesting clue. Hey, Moonlight View, good to see you. Hey, Laura T, good to have you guys. Hey, Kim, good to have you too. So yeah, a little bit odd, a little bit strange, and I think unfortunately we're looking for a dead woman. As sad as that is to say, I don't think she's alive. Um, they would have to come forward with some sort of information where they were like, this woman wanted to escape from her life and she had told people how unhappy she was, for me to even consider that she may have faked her own disappearance to run off to Victoria. You would have to give me something that would send me down that path. And right now, we've not heard anything like that. Just that she was quite happy living in the town. She was quite quiet, although was friendly with people, and she quite liked living there. So, yeah, you would have something, and you wouldn't leave your thongs there. That's a really strange detail, leaving the only footwear you have in the vehicle, especially in a desert outback area. You don't walk around with no shoes. People have that ingrained in their head. All right, let's watch the rest of the questioning.
The damages.
How difficult is this area, being so remote, for police investigations?
Oh, it's very difficult. We've had, as you know, recent times, outback searches are very challenging. The remoteness of it, the weather conditions, getting resources in there, it's very challenging. And any time where we have gaps in the movement of people, small townships, small communities, it's difficult. It's not easy, but that doesn't deter us. We're now looking for a mother of two young children from Andamuka. So as tough as it is and how difficult it is, we'll leave no stone unturned to find out what's happened to Trisha Graf.
So what's the plan now with the investigation? Will you be expanding that radius?
Yeah, look, we'll have to go back to Andamuka. As I said before, we're appealing for people who may have information about Trisha and her movements and the movements of a vehicle to come forward. Further searches of the Andamuka area have not been ruled out. So we'll have investigators in and around the Andamuka area in the immediate future conducting inquiries, yes.
The last time we were seeing her at that house party, and what is the association with those people? Were they friends?
Yeah, just friends. We understand they're friends. Yeah.
And they're cooperating?
Yes, yeah. So people that we've spoken to in Andamuka and Roxby Downs to date have been very helpful to provide statements to police and are assisting.
How much does a case like this rock the area?
It's a small community, Andamuka, and from the detectives speaking to residents up there, they're shocked. They themselves are wondering what's happened to Trisha. She's a member of the community up there. So, but they're being very helpful. They're understanding. They're happy, clearly more than happy that police are in the area trying to get to the bottom of this. But yeah, it'll be a testing time for the Andamuka community when one of their residents goes missing, yes.
Just while we're here, has there been any updates in major crimes, tactics with the search for Gus?
The search for Gus continues. Only last week, detectives returned to Oak Park Station and spoke with the family, who are continuing to cooperate with us. That is not a simple investigation. It's a 4-year-old boy in a remote area. We're exploring all avenues to do with locating Gus. Nothing is off the table. And again, we won't rest until we're satisfied that we've done absolutely everything we can to find him. And if we've done everything we can and we can't find him, then that sometimes is what will happen. But we are throwing everything we can at that, and we continue to do that.
Was there anything that actually sparked They're trying to go back?
Well, we've taken statements from the family. We've had to go through those statements with the family, and that's just part of the normal investigational process.
So they actually got onto the topic of missing Gus Lamont, and that's what they're talking about here. So they're saying they're still investigating Gus's disappearance. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Gus thing. I have a funny feeling that I don't know. I've always thought the answer was closer to home than people realize, and I just don't know why authorities are sort of being very vague with that, with the information in that one. Okay. All right. I want to bring you some extra details. Okay. So this is sort of the timeline of what happened that night. Okay. So her friend, Mrs. Graf's friend, the one that she was with that night, this is her version of events, right? Apparently, the pair of them drove 32 kilometers to Roxby Downs Tavern to pick up takeaway beers for Mrs. Graf's partner, but upon arriving at the pub, Trisha said she didn't have money to buy the beers. Instead, a man at the tavern covered the bill. I find that very strange. Why would you go with your friend, drive 32 kilometers to the tavern to pick up beers if you knew the whole time that you didn't have the money to cover them and pick them up? Is her partner an abusive alcoholic? That's what I'm wondering. That detail also almost makes it seem like he forced her to go get them and was like, "Get me my beers. Go get my beers from town." Because that's strange. Why would you even bother going? It's a long drive. You waste a lot of petrol. That detail might be the entire thing, because that's bloody weird. And then a nice man at the tavern covers the bill. Do you know the person who found the car? Do you know who it is? It was the partner. He found the car at the dam, at Blue Dam. Strange. Hey, Avalon, how are you, my friend? Oh, I didn't see. I didn't see. No. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Avalon. Yeah, I did not. It didn't give me. Normally, when someone sends in a super chat and the show's not live, I get an email. But no, it didn't send me one. I'm sorry. Thank you, my friend. That is very kind. It's good to see you. How are you? I like when Avalon pops in every now and then. Every now and then, Avalon graces us and comes and hangs out for a little bit. You're very kind, my friend. Thank you. It's very sweet of you. I didn't see it, but I'll have to check my we get like a receipt thing at the end of the month, and that's the only other time I think we can see them. So I'll check for it. I'll see if you left a message. Thank you. Very kind. Very, very kind. Um we're blocked on Facebook again. We keep getting booted off Facebook for like periods of time. All right, I'll have a look. Thank you. Oh, you do? Okay, good to see you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for replaying the show. It's very kind. But it's actually good to see you rather than for any monetary reasons. I like when you pop in. All right. So what do we know? The partner forced her to go into town to pick up money for beers that she didn't have, and that he was the one who found the car at Blue Dam. I don't know, guys. I just find that weird. Once they returned to Endamuka, they drove less than a kilometer to Dunstan Drive home, where they were drinking and socializing with a family friend, it says here. When Miss Graff left in the early hours of Saturday about 2 a.m., the friend that she drove to town with said Trisha was clear-headed with very little alcohol in her system at the time. The next morning, Mrs. Graf's partner came to the friend and told her that both women were missing. He said they are missing, as in I was missing as well. It wasn't a question. He said it as if it was a fact. So that's when concern for Mrs. Graf or Miss Graf started to creep in after her partner said she never got home. Tony, that's the guy's name, and a friend found her car on December 13 the next day, but the discovery brought more questions than answers. Why would he go to that woman's home and insist to her that she was missing as well? And I'll reread what it says. It says, he came to the home and said, they are missing, as in I was missing as well. It wasn't a question. He said it as if it was a fact. How is she missing if she's standing right in front of him, talking to each other? Hmm. Hmm. I don't really get that. That is very strange. So when they found the car, the passenger seatbelt was clicked in, the headlights were left on, the windows were down, but the car was locked with no keys nearby. Very strange. According to the friend, she said the car's front bumper must have sustained further damage, as the damage from when they hit the kangaroo earlier the night before was only minor. So she's saying the car was more damaged on the front end than when they hit the kangaroo the night before, because she was in the car when they hit the kangaroo. So she would know how damaged it was. There is something very, very strange going on here. They're saying here, as part of standard procedure, police officers collected Miss Graf's partner's DNA, confiscated his phone, and searched their home. The partner has also been interviewed several times, along with other Endamuka and Roxbury Down locals. Miss Graf's bank account hasn't been touched since her disappearance. They're saying authorities have conducted search with helicopters and other aerial assets. They've also deployed the dive team to check waterways, but haven't been able to find anything. Yeah. Apparently a lot of people have been calling into Crime Stoppers, providing information to police. That's very interesting too. For a town that only has 300 people or something, and they're getting an absolute deluge of people calling the Crime Stoppers number to give information. I'm guessing he has the children right now. Did she have a phone? I thought she would have to, right? Hold on. They confiscated his phone. I don't know about her phone. It doesn't mention anything here. Yeah, I don't notice anything about any information about a mobile phone for her. I'm just having a look. Is she not holding a phone in this photo? Is that not a mobile, do you think? Or do you think it's a bank card? Is this a mobile phone in her hand? I know that's a car key. Is that a mobile? Do you think that's a mobile phone, or do you think it's like a purse or a wallet or something? Or She's holding definitely a set of keys for a car. I don't know what she's got between her thumb and forefinger there. You guys would have to tell me. I don't know what that is. A pack of smokes, maybe? I don't know. You guys would have to tell me. A vape? A credit card? Why would she have a credit card when she has no money to pay for the beers? I mean, I'm not saying she doesn't have it. I'm just saying it's a bit strange. There's a few things here that don't add up. The thing about the going to the going to the pub to buy beers when she knew she didn't have any money, but then she's holding a credit card. Why would you even have the credit card out if you know you got no money on it? There's just some stuff here that doesn't make any sense. Oh, they did say the phone and shoes were in the car? Sorry. I must have missed that. I know they found the shoes. Good work, Ping. Good work. Hold on. Let me check one other place. I don't have that. Let me check one other place. Okay, it's interesting. They're saying that they have obtained stuff for her phone, like records for the phone, but they haven't been able to. It doesn't say that they found anything. Yeah. I can't get if they did say that in the video, then I missed it, setting up more things for you guys. But if that's what they said, okay. Be strange to leave your phone in a car. It really would be. Yeah, I'm just gonna go to a different one and have a look. Yeah, it doesn't show anything for me. Yeah, I'm gonna take you out to a story where you guys can from Channel 9.
The search for a mother in the state's far north has taken a turn, with police now treating her disappearance as suspicious. 41-year-old Trisha Graf was last seen a month ago. Her car then mysteriously found dumped near Roxby Downs. And tonight, detectives have grave concerns for her safety.
Smiling and seemingly in good spirits, this is Trisha Graf just a few hours before she disappeared.
Police are now treating the disappearance of Trisha as suspicious, and we hold grave concerns for her welfare.
Police began searching for the 41-year-old mother nearly a month ago when she never returned home to her family in Andamuka. Her car found dumped on a mound of dirt in the area the day she vanished.
This is highly unusual and particularly out of character for her.
Police say Trisha had been with friends at the Roxby Downs Hotel until around 12:30 on December 12. She left the pub with a friend in her white Ford Territory, driving to a home in northwestern Andamuka. At 2 a.m, Trisha left to travel a short distance home, last seen alive, driving along Dunstan Drive. Her car was found abandoned near Blue Dam just after midday.
The dam has been searched by police divers. Polair has been involved in aerial searching, and we've also utilised the capability of specialised drone equipment.
But no trace of Trisha has been found, apart from a pair of her thongs left next to her Ford Territory.
If she had just wandered off, we would expect that she would have had shoes on, her thongs on. We don't believe she had any other shoes with her.
Major crime detectives will now take the reins of this investigation. They plan to return to the state's far north to continue interviewing locals and those close to Trisha Graf, who police say have so far been cooperative in this investigation. They're also asking anyone who saw Trisha in the hours before her disappearance to contact police.
Yeah, very strange. Laura said, didn't they say her phone and shoes were in the car? Well, that one, you would think that's a major detail. Hold on, let's go back.
Declared a major crime before now, just police. In the lead up to Trisha's disappearance, or anyone who knows any information post Trisha's disappearance, these people may have information that quite a large tattoo on her right back to Andamuka with her friend. Trish was last seen wearing black green to my right, quite a large tattoo on her. Trisha, or seen her vehicle, investigation.
It's only being declared as a major crime today.
Okay, Trisha. This is highly unusual, and we hold great blue dam. As a result, today, the vehicle near Blue Dam, on the location of her vehicle, about 4 kilometres to the eastern side of the Andamuka township. Police, since that time, police and other resources have conducted an extensive search of the area near Blue Dam, searching for Trisha, and they located her vehicle positioned on a mound or a rise near Blue Dam, about 4 kilometres to the eastern side of the Andamuka township. Police, since that time, police and other resources have her car is also unusual. It's not an area that we know that Trisha regularly frequents.
Thongs were found in the car. Did she have other shoes on her? And when she was last seen driving along that Dunstan Drive, did she accompanied by anyone?
No, she left Dunstan Drive alone from her friend's place to drive back to her home address, which is less than 2 kilometres away. And the next time we find the vehicle is out near Blue Dam. And we don't know that she had any other shoes with her, but her thongs were located near the vehicle, or next to the vehicle when the vehicle was found by her partner.
How can police confidently say she didn't just wander off?
I don't know. They just say the shoes were found next to the vehicle. I'd have to go through the entire thing again. Sean said, so the car is stuck. Must be all-wheel drive, not four-wheel drive. It is a... Let's go back to the photo of it. It says AW... There you go. All-wheel drive. I don't think that's a 4, is it? That's an A. Yep, looks like AWD, all-wheel drive. So, and you can see it's sort of beached itself on the mound. So they were saying that one of the tires or something couldn't get any traction, and that's why it couldn't move. And that's where it's stuck. It couldn't go anywhere. So Kim says, hubby says it looks staged. I think so too. I think it's staged. I think that something happened either before 2 a.m. or after 2 a.m. and someone has done this to make the problem go away. Callie said Australians call them thongs, we call them flip-flops. That's right. That's right. Who's seen her driving? I think it was the friend saw her drive or leave the property. Yeah, it definitely seems like it seems very convenient that the car was found at the dam. I mean, it could have been, it's almost like they just looked at a map and went, where's the nearest place that is not in the town? And they just went, oh, the dam. Like, it's far too convenient. It really is. Especially for a woman who wanted to go home, not to the dam. So it's not like she just drove you know, it would be different if she went to the outskirts of the town and crashed the car into an opal mining site, and then that's where they found the car on the outskirts of town. You'd be like, okay, maybe she took a wrong turn and sort of like ditched the car. But the fact that it's multiple kilometers away down a crazy long road, it's not like you could make a mistake. Like, look at this. This is how you get to the dam, right? So you go down the road, you get onto Lake Torrens Road, you go all the way bloody out. It goes for ages. It goes all the way around, and then you go down Blue Dam Road and go down to the dam. Like, it's not, it's only a one road thing. You would know very quickly that you were going in the wrong direction. And if that was you, you'd just do a U-turn and come back into town and go home. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. Not for a woman who had not been drinking that much, was not drunk by any stretch of the imagination, and was in her mind like she was fine. Gayla said away from her destination. Exactly. Hey Sienna, how are you? Sienna, yeah, good to see you, my friend. Ah, it's good to have you. I hope your phone is doing well tonight. Hope your phone's being okay. Montana said, what's the fellow say that supposedly was selling beers they didn't have money to pay for? Is anyone telling the truth? Yeah, that's what I want to know about. I want the partner to come out and tell us, why would he send her to the pub with no money to pick up his beers? It's not anyone else's alcohol, it's for him. So why would he send his partner with no cash? Why would he send her to go do that? Like, I wouldn't send Mrs. Ping to go do something if she didn't have the money for it, or I hadn't given her money for it. Like, she'd be majorly pissed at me if I did that to her. So it seems so strange that she would just do that and be okay with it. So there's something up on that. I want to know more about that. Gail said, and why didn't she go straight home with them? That's another interesting point. I thought that when they said they went back to a friend's home, they went back to the friend's home. Let me double check that timeline. Yeah. The pair drove 32 kilometers to Roxby Down Tavern to pick up the takeaway beers for Miss Graf's partner. But upon arriving at the pub, Miss Graf said she didn't have the money to buy the beers. Instead, a man at the tavern covered the bill. On their way back to Endamuka, Miss Graf's Ford Territory struck a small kangaroo. And the friend says, we were driving slow, and the baby Roo was just like sitting in the middle of the road. The hit didn't do much damage. It just damaged the front left and popped out the clips on the bumper. Once they returned to Endamuka, they drove less than a kilometer to Dunstan Drive, where they were drinking and socializing with the friends. The friend had a family friend there. When Miss Graff left in the early hours of Saturday, about 2 a.m., the friend said she was clear-headed with very little alcohol in her system. The friend, her name's Kimberly. Kimberly said the next morning, Miss Graff's partner came to the family home and told her stepdad that both women were missing. He said they are missing, as in Kimberly was missing as well. It wasn't a question. He said it as if it was a fact. So there you go. Then it says here, Kimberly said she heard from locals that when the car was found by Miss Graff's partner and a friend of his at Blue Dam, the vehicle was stuck on a mound in the shadows of mining waste known as Mullock Heaps. So there you go. Yeah, very unusual. Here's a photo of that car and where it was stuck too. So you guys can see the sort of where it's almost like it was not hidden, but it's very convenient location right between these two trees or whatever they are, and plants. So, Kim says, was he mad his beers were late? I wouldn't, yeah. Montana says, Miss Kimberly is lying me things. I don't trust anyone. I don't trust anyone. I don't care if it's Kimberly. I don't care if it's the partner. I don't trust anyone. No one's timeline is trustworthy. Yeah, it's interesting why she didn't go straight home with the alcohol when that's the whole reason she went out. Strange. All right, let's look at one other place. Let's have a look. I just want to check like the information and see if there's another source for it. Uh, Yeah, no further details, unfortunately. But let me see if we can find anything else about Trisha. Disappearance. Yeah. Yeah, the photo doesn't really look like her, right? Here's that photo that you guys saw on the news. I don't think that really looks like her compared to some of the photos we've seen. Like when you see her in the CCTV, there's the one they gave you, and this is the CCTV. She looks very different from the photo that they've been giving out to people. All right, let's go here. All right. I'm going to go to South Australian Police. What else do we know? Um, hmm. Visitor home in the northwestern area of the town shortly after the. Okay. So the crux of the issue is going to be what happened at before or after 2 a.m. And that's really going to be the timeline that we have to look at, because at 12:19 she was at the Roxby Downs Hotel. So between 12:19 and 2 a.m., according to the friend, that's going to be sort of like your timeline. It's going to be between that gap. You're going to have to find out what happened in that thing. Is that a fence? I don't think so. I don't think it's a fence. Hold on. It's not a fence, it's piping. This is pipes, like PVC or metal piping. And that is there's no fence here. So these are like pipes, and I'll show you if we can get the other photo of the car. I'll show you where it's a pipe. Yeah. Here's the other angle of it. It's almost like they drove over it and broke it. Yeah. It's a pipe. Metal pipe, and there's a PVC one next to it. So these are like, and you can see it on the other angle. There's more on the other side too. So they're like leftover piping from mining, maybe. Where's our other photo? Yeah. So now you've seen it close up. Now you can see the rest of it. They run all along the ground. And they run all the way over there. So it's all these like PVC and metal piping. What they got to do with anything, I don't know. But that's what it is. No, it's not cattle fencing. No, it's just pipes. Yeah. Okay. So I want you guys to tell me in the comments what you think about what happened to Trisha, because it's a little strange. And there's really only 3 scenarios, right? There's 3 scenarios. And I'll go from like what I think is the least likely. Stranger abduction. So she's driving home to her house after visiting her friend and picking up the beers, and she's leaving at 2 a.m. and someone carjacks her in the middle of town, and they take her car and do something with her, then dump the car, which seems odd because why would you carjack someone and then take their car and dump it 4 kilometers away and then you not have a car to get away? But whatever. That's the least likely. The second one is she's decided to run away from the partner and she has engineered her disappearance. It's possible, but I don't think it's that likely. Actually, there might be 4, but we'll keep going. The other one is someone close to her has hurt her and has done this to try and cover up the crime. The fourth one is it's a story that seems not that likely either, is that she's driven off and crashed the car here and walked into the outback and died and succumbed to the weather, the surroundings, the elements. So you got 4 different scenarios of what seems logical. You guys would have to tell me what you think. Yeah, I know, right? What are the odds of hitting those pipes? It seems very deliberate. Very deliberate. Does the family have 2 vehicles? I don't know. I'm not sure whether they have more than 1 vehicle. I would guess they might, but I don't know. Kim said she's been hurt for sure. Partner dumped the car. Well, I'll tell you this. The fact that the partner's been dragged in by authorities and interviewed several times already tells me where the direction of their investigation might be, because they're not going to drag a partner in, you know, multiple times if they don't think there's something there they should be digging for. Now they always start with the person closest to the missing person. Always. That's how they do it. But they're not going to keep re-interviewing and interviewing and re-interviewing. Do you know what that maybe tells me? One of the things that cops love to do is they will bring someone in and interview them, and they record everything. And then what they'll do is they'll bring them in again and they'll ask them the exact same set of questions, maybe worded slightly different, but they'll ask them the same thing over another interview. Then if they don't get what they want, they'll release them, then they'll do it again. They'll bring them in for like a third time and interview them and ask them the same questions again. But what they'll do through these interviews is throughout their investigation, where they learn more details about stuff, they'll throw in more things that they've learned each time. So after a week, they'll bring them in again, they'll question them, and they'll throw out a little bit more of what they've learned. And they'll say, well, we've learned this. What do you got to say to that? And they'll record it. They'll come back the next week and do it again. And what they're doing is, it's like trying to find a baseline. So the first interview is a baseline. That's the first original interview. Then the subsequent ones are to see how far away from that baseline does the story change. And they try and like see if there's any drift. And if there's drift, when they start throwing out more information, they know they might be onto something. Because, yeah, people who are telling the truth will tell you the same thing every single time because that is the only thing they know. But people who are lying will try and adjust their story for new information that's been given to them. So they'll be like, hey, we found out this about you and her's relationship. What do you got to say about that? And then if that story modifies, then they've got, something to work off. I don't know if that's what they're doing, but it might be. Donna said, that's possible. Definitely in the desert gone. Could be. Gail said, I think there's only the two I said above. What did you say above? Gail said something happened at friends all went home. Hubby killed her and dumped the car to make police look somewhere else. I mean, if you're talking about like the person hurts her scenario, it could happen anywhere in that timeline, but from 12:19 to 2 a.m. because they have a proof of life. The proof of life is at the pub. They don't care what the friend says. They don't care what Kimberly says. They don't care what the partner says. They care that they have her on video at 12:19. Anything else other than that, there's no one that gets credibility or 100% verification. Not the friend, not the partner, not no one, because they only care about what they can be certain about. And the only thing they're certain about is that at 12:19 she was alive. So that's where I personally think that's where cops would be working from, not 2 a.m. It'll be 12:19. It'll be that's the last proof of life. So yeah. Donna said if she has been dumped, there was another vehicle. There could be. You might be right. Either while with friends or at home. Well, yes. Well, she was with the friend at 12:19 at the pub. So we have to just sit, like that's what I'm saying. 12:19 is the last proof of life. That's where they would work from, and anything else is, either evidence or not. That's it. Unfortunately, I think this most likely. I think she's been hurt. Unfortunately, I would if this ends up coming back and they're like, oh, we found her and she wandered off into the desert. I would be very surprised, but you know, you can't count out the 1 in a million shot at it, but I don't know. Something tells me there's something else here. Some of the background and information just seems a little strange. All right. Let me see. We've got one more video for you. We might have one more video. Hold on. Yes, I think we do. One more video. Maybe we don't. I thought we did, but now we don't. Oh, that's interesting. So they did a drone search. Let's have a look of the area from South Australian Police. Let's have a look. So this is them using their drone to search for her. There's the police with their drone controller. And they're looking around the area trying to find her. Yeah, you'd think that drone would be able to pick her up if there was a body or a person. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the video quality is pretty good from that drone, isn't it? And they can get down, and so if they saw something they liked, they'd be able to get pretty low and find her if she was there. But they're saying they have searched this area extensively and not been able to find her. That's pretty cool. What a cool video. and you guys get a good look at what the ground floor of the area looks like. And just how flat it is out there. It's super flat. Yeah, that's cool. Montana said she was never where the vehicle was dumped. Yeah, I don't think so either. Sean says, why was her car there not on the right track back to Andamuka? That's a good point. Donna says it is sketchy. I think it's sketchy too. I think it was the friend, but you never know. These people, you can't take anything they say as being the truth. And I don't mean that to be mean to Kimberly. You just can't. It doesn't matter who you are. And that's not to be mean. It's just you never know who's got something to hide and who doesn't. Let's see. Trisha was last seen. They just say here, her thongs were found with her vehicle, and we would have expected to locate her if she had simply wandered off a short distance. And they're saying they will be bringing in more specialist resources to be committed to finding and locating Trisha. So that's what they're saying. All right. So let's go to a different search and rescue. We're looking for another person. It's a bit of a missing person type of night. And I'm going to take you out to Nevada. Give me 1 second and we'll change stories. Let's go here. So in I think it's California, they are looking for a hiker and they found her dog but haven't been able to find her. Oh no, this one they did. That's okay. They ended up finding that hiker. So I had a story from about a week ago that we didn't get to during last week, and they did end up finding her. Her name was Erin Van Aker, and she went missing in Placer County, but they ended up finding her deceased. So that's really sad. They did end up finding her though. Yeah, I'll show it to you, but we won't cover it. We'll go to a different one. See, body of missing hiker Erin Van Aker found in North Fork of the American River 1. North Fork of the American River, and it's from Placer County. They said she was missing since Friday, January 2nd. So that's really sad. She was 40 years old, went missing January 2. They ended up finding her dog, and the dog was okay. And they just said that they ended up finding her, but she was deceased. So that's really sad. That's never what we want to hear. All right. Let me go to my notes and see what oh, okay. Let's go to Oklahoma. We can go to Oklahoma, and they're looking for a young boy called Ryan, 12-year-old Ryan Davis Jr. Let me see if we can get an update on it. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to take you out to this news thing, and we'll talk about it together.
And now to the urgent search. It continues this morning for missing 12-year-old Ryan Davis, who also goes by RJ.
Yeah, today marks 1 week since he was last seen, and now the community is coming together to help search. KOCO's Jordan Ryan, she joins us with the latest from authorities and the plans for tonight.
Happening right now, volunteers are gathering in Chickasha trying to locate missing 12-year-old Ryan Davis. He also goes by RJ. OSBI says they are still searching for him. He has not been found. A Facebook group was created less than a day ago. It's designed to organize volunteer search efforts. It already has more than 700 members, just showing that community support. We talked to the creator of that group about why she felt this was the right thing to do.
Seeing what he's been through and knowing that he's still out there needing adults who are going to help guide him back to safety, I think we just see our own kids and other members of our community in him and just say, if it was my son, man, I would really want the community to rally.
Meanwhile, RJ's parents are in the Caddo County Jail. OSBI says they're going to be facing child abuse charges. If RJ is found, authorities have made it clear he would not be returning to the custody of his parents. Authorities did search several properties connected to the boy's parents, but we haven't heard any updates. Yesterday, authorities did search several properties connected to the Coles. That's the stepfather and biological mother of RJ. So far, we haven't heard any updates. At OSBI headquarters, Jordan Ryan, KUCO5 News.
And as the search for RJ continues, the community is holding a candlelight vigil tonight at 7. It'll take place at the Chickasha Leg Lamp. So if you do plan on attending, you're asked to bring your own.
It's very sad to hear about what happened to this kid, right? So they're saying his home life, it was not a safe environment for him. And they say when Chickasha Police Department requested us look into this case, it not only was important to locate the child, but they also needed to look into the entire aspect of the case and find out why is the kid missing and why did he leave from home. They're saying the abuse happened, so he was an abused kid, happened at the hands of RJ's mother and stepfather, Kimberly and George. And during an interview, they apparently are living in a Quality Inn because they live in a fifth wheel travel trailer and they can't have showers with everybody in the house. They both acknowledge that they'd had DHS visit them multiple times. However, they claim that there has never been any abuse of RJ. I don't know. I believe the police when they say they think there is. They say here, police have since arrested George and Kimberly Cole. Both are facing multiple charges related to physical and SA against RJ, including the mom, who's been charged with a crime against nature. Do you know what that charge means? That charge means this word. I can't say the word on the channel, otherwise we'll get in trouble, but this is what it means. This is exactly what it means. Yeah, that's why they call it a crime against nature, because a mother is never supposed to do that with her son. And that's what it means. That is horrible. No wonder this kid has run away from home, and I hope they can find him. And he's not going back to them. Like you heard in the video, when they find him, hopefully alive, he is not going back to that household. By the way, thank you, Donna. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. And my friend Lisa, Aussie Pizza for the win. I would have pizza tonight, but I've actually got some leftover Chinese food because we didn't want to cook last night, being that it was 110 degrees. So we got some Chinese last night, and I'm going to eat that tonight for dinner because it is delicious. But normally Saturday night I would have some pizza. So, but thank you. I appreciate it. And of course, Moonlight View, who donated 5 memberships to very kind people in the chat. I also heard my phone tick before. It was Sean. Sean, thank you very much. While we have a little break for a little second, I don't like having to talk about this because I hate it. I hate this part of YouTube, but if we want to go do the Samantha Murphy trial in only about 2 months' time, I need a little bit of help from my people on my channel. I have been trying to save up myself. I've got a little bit put away, but it probably won't be quite enough to do the entire trial. If people could donate to the channel, this is probably the one only time I'll ever directly ask people to. I would appreciate it. It'd be very kind so we can go out to Ballarat and cover the trial and give you all that breaking information like we did with Erin. So I would appreciate it. This will probably be the only time I ever say something like that. But yeah, we were sort of doing the math last night and it wasn't looking that great. And I really want to be there to do it because it's a very interesting case. Woman's been missing since 2023, never been located, yet they have the person who they think is responsible for her death in jail facing a murder charge this April. And we plan to be there. So I appreciate you. I love you all. You're very kind. Everyone's very generous. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going with Ryan's one. This is when they're talking about the vigil. They held a vigil and his biological father pledging to find him. Authorities are offering a reward. Okay, how much? They're not going to tell us. $5,000 reward for any information on RJ Davis's location, and the search remains ongoing. Oh, they still haven't found him. I'm glad they've arrested the mom and dad though. Here's their all. We have some mugshots. I want to see that. They're not going to give it to us. I'm going to find the mugshots. Hold on, Kimberly and George. Yeah, here we go. Here's mom and dad, or stepfather and mom. There's their mugshot when they were arrested, including that one for crimes against nature. Ugh. No details about what that charge is have been released. So the Chickasha PD said they feel that RJ is alive and are investigating multiple leads to try and bring him in, like try and save him and bring him in and give him some safety to try and help him. I think he may be running away because he's scared. I can understand why this kid might be afraid. Like the life he lived is horrific. All right, I want to play this thing from the vigil.
Yeah, guys, RJ's dad was here at the vigil in Chickasha tonight, and he made it very clear he's willing to do whatever it takes to help find his son. But he also said he hasn't seen his son in several years. He hasn't had contact with him, and he blames one of the suspects.
Heartbroken. I'm feeling really a lot of anxiety to find him because he's got to be somewhere. Whether it's for the good or the bad, we need to know.
Robbie Frederick Jr. attended the vigil in Chickasha Friday night.
Just let him come home. Let him come home and let us know that he's safe. This ain't fair to him, and it ain't fair to the parents that do love and care for the kids. I mean, who would want to be in this predicament?
It's now been a full week since his son, 12-year-old RJ Davis, was last seen. He admitted to us he hasn't had contact with his son for about 8 years.
George Cole kept me out of it, and Kim let me try, and Junior shut it down.
Robbie had a previous relationship with the other suspect, Kimberly Cole, and I asked Robbie if he thought RJ had access to a phone or any kind of communication.
I guess Kim's side of the family did say he did have a phone at time, but it kept getting taken away from him. So I don't know.
The search effort continues for 12-year-old RJ, who also goes by Riker. He was last seen around 11 p.m. on January 2nd at 4th Street and East Grand Avenue near the Quality Inn in Chickasha. Thursday, law enforcement officials were searching a property north of Cement, where his parents, Kimberly and George Cole, ran a horse training business. Robbie has a message for his son.
Riker, Dad's here. Your real dad is here looking for you, and I'm out tonight looking for you. And I am going to find you, whether which way I got to go to do it.
If dad is so concerned now, why did he not live with dad the whole time if life with mum and stepdad was so bad? I'd like to know that. Hey, Montana. You're taking the family out for pizza for you. Oh, have a good night, my friend. Happy birthday. I hope you have a great night. You will be excused from being here tomorrow night because you're having such a great birthday. Have a good time with your family. I hope you do. Take lots of photos. Um, I think there's a press conference we can watch about RJ too. Maybe a little bit of one.
Investigation or their prime.
Let's go here.
This is extremely sad. This is a horrific case so far for everybody involved.
New details coming to light about what might have led to the disappearance of Ryan Davis Jr. last Friday. His mother and stepfather arrested on child abuse complaints.
You're talking about a 12-year-old boy, where it was seen that he was, living in a household where he didn't get to live a life of a normal 12-year-old boy. It was deemed that it was not a safe environment for him. So that's why these two parents are behind bars at this time.
Despite those arrests, the goal has not changed. Find Ryan and find him quickly.
We do believe that he is still alive at this time, and so we're doing everything we can to locate him.
All we want to do is lay eyes on this child, get him the medical care that he needs, and assure him physically and emotionally he will not be returning back to that environment.
Officials focusing their search on Ryan in Caddo and Grady counties.
Everything that we've been able to see so far, we do believe that he is somewhere in that area of these two counties.
Do you think he's somewhere where he can see the news? Because you would think if he could see the news and everyone like talking about how he won't go home and how his mom and dad or mom and stepdad are in jail, that he might come out of hiding and go with the authorities. I get he may have some trust issues, but I wonder, do you think he's in the wilderness hiding, like camping out in the woods type of thing? I hope not. Hold on, let's have a look. Because I hope he can see the news and the people doing like vigils for him and stuff like that. But investigators are treating the case as a suspicious disappearance. I hope that's not. They're saying he's alive, so I'm gonna keep the faith. But they're saying here near 4th Oklahoma and East Grand Avenue. Okay. Could he be camping? I mean, it's possible. I'm interested to know whether he has the skill to do that or not. Whether he could actually keep himself alive outside of like the city, that type of thing. Yeah, let's have a look. RJ Davis. We've got to have more information about this young guy. Let's see. I'm going to check another news source and see if they have anything about it. They're saying here Kimberly K. Cole, that's the mom, and George Franklin Cole Jr. have been arrested on suspicion of CA and remain in custody at Caddo County Jail in Anadarko. It's not yet clear whether the charges are directly related to RJ's disappearance, but the arrests come after officers interviewed the parents and obtained evidence from a search warrant. What did they find in that search warrant that made them charge them with a crime against nature? That's what I want to know, because they don't have RJ to interview at the moment. So that makes me very, very worried. They said here, the OSBI says it was learned that there was an apparent harm done to this child while he was living with these two parents. Awful, awful. Okay, RJ Davis.
Today marks a week since a 12-year-old boy vanished from Chickasha.
Ryan Davis, or RJ, was last seen January 2nd. His mother and stepfather have now been charged with child abuse and child sexual abuse. Now state agents are offering a financial reward for anyone with information who knows where RJ might be right now.
We want to go to KOCO's Kylie Thomas joining us live near Cement with the very latest on the search. Kylie?
Yeah, that's right. OSBI is now offering $5,000 to anyone who can confirm RJ's location, leading to his safe return. While law enforcement continues searching, local volunteers spent the day canvassing the area, searching for RJ.
So we've just been walking around, just yelling, RJ, RJ!
Down country roads, around lakes, and through fields. Volunteers spent Friday searching for 12-year-old Ryan Davis, who goes by RJ. Volunteers met at the Leg Lamp in Chickasha, where they grabbed flyers, water, sleeping bags, and gloves before splitting up to cover more ground.
I think I'm not the only mother that lost a lot of sleep last night, and I think our community was ready for action. Everyone really just, came out, bundled up, ready to be directed somewhere, and we're all just eager to find RJ.
Friday marks 1 week since RJ was last seen. Volunteers say they aren't giving up hope.
We all have kids around the same age, so this kind of near to our hearts, and we want to make sure this boy is safe and found.
On the missing persons flyer, volunteers left a message specifically for RJ, telling him that his parents have been arrested, that he does not have to return back to that house, and he is in no way in trouble.
Whoever was the clever one who put that message on the flyer, in case he doesn't have a phone or can't see a TV or the internet, but might see a flyer around town with his name on it, and that's super clever. Whoever did that, that's one of the most cool things I've seen. The fact that he left a message directly for him, because it might get him to come in. He might only be hiding because his parents he may have thought his parents might take him back, or because he might think they're going to hurt him. That's really cool. I love that. That's one of the greatest things I've seen. I am a little worried that in a week there has been no sighting of him. No one's been able to say, oh, I saw him crossing my paddock, or there was a sighting of him in a wooded area over here. That does worry me. And the fact that it's so cold in Oklahoma right now, it's winter. So I don't know how cold it is in Chickasha right now, but let me have a look. It's only 50 degrees in Chickasha at the moment. Let me have a look. Suspicious. George Cole. So George Cole was also taken into custody on that child SA charge too. Terrible. They're saying here the OSBI did not go into detail on the alleged abuse pending the filing of official charges. Yeah, these two can, as far as I'm concerned, these two can go straight to friggin' the firing squad. These two are gross. The fact that they would sexually abuse that kid. It's their own, it's supposed to be their own child. Gross. Really gross. Rachel said, I'm scared he doesn't know that they are in jail. Hopefully he sees the flyer. The flyer was really clever. The fact that they did that and left a message for him, so clever. It's really, really one of the more ingenious things I've seen for a search effort. I don't think I've ever heard that before, leaving a message for the person they're looking for. Really cool. All right, no more other than that, except for the search has now extended into quite a long period. Hopefully that is going to be, hopefully they're going to find him. I hope so. Let me check if we got any more updates for you for cases we've been following. Um, All right. I want to go to Denver. I want to go to Denver because I think this might be no, not Denver. That's not the right one. There's one more that we were going to do. Okay. Ah. Apparently none of our links are now working tonight for some reason. Even though I checked them last night. All right. All right, we're going to go to WPVI. All right. Real life horror movie comes to life, and I'll explain why in a second. This guy was robbing graves. I'm serious. He would break into this graveyard, and he was stealing remains. Literally stealing remains. Yeah, he was actually trying to he had a Facebook group where he was sort of selling them. I've never heard of something like this before, where someone would break into a cemetery, steal remains, hang them up in his home, and then he had a Facebook group about selling remains, including some of them being little children, like babies that were only days or months old. Let's watch the video.
Well, now to a stunning and disturbing discovery in Delaware County. A suspected grave robber is now under arrest and facing a long list of charges. Police think Jonathan Gerlach stole more than 100 sets of human remains from Mount Moriah Cemetery in Yaden. According to investigators, a stockpile was found in his home and at a nearby storage unit. Action News reporter Leland Pinder spoke to his neighbors and has more.
People here tell me a large police presence occupied their neighborhood for much of the last 2 days. Tonight, just one cop car remains guarding the property as the investigation continues.
Yeah, this is definitely horrific. I mean, I could only imagine what the investigators saw.
Inside this home on Washington Avenue in Ephrata, a search warrant uncovered well over 100 human skeletons, according to the Delaware County DA.
Detectives walked into a horror movie come to life.
34-year-old Jonathan Gerlach is now in custody, accused of robbing graves and maintaining a home full of skeletal remains. Neighbors are shaken.
Well, it's supposed to be a nice, quaint little town, and here you have somebody with bodies in their house.
Authorities say between Halloween and just this week, police investigated multiple burglaries of graves and mausoleums at Mount Moriah Cemetery in Yaden. During surveillance Tuesday, Gerlach was arrested at the cemetery. Police say he had a bag filled with human remains, including children's bones, with more discovered in his vehicle.
I just want to know the motive, why would someone do that?
Investigators believe the remains came from cemeteries across the region. Police are also examining this Facebook page titled Human Bones and Skull Selling Group, where Gerlach is tagged. Authorities have not yet determined whether any remains were sold or why Gerlach wanted them.
Oh, yeah, I worked with him.
This man, who did not want to be identified, says he and Gerlach were co-workers in a manufacturing job.
He was a team lead at a place of my work. But yeah, I mean, he was a good worker, but, a little strange, but this strange, it's disturbing.
My name is Leland Pinder, calling with
A little strange? I don't know if that's a little strange. That's a lot strange. But Gerlach has been arrested after robbing the Mount Moriah Cemetery in Yaden after he was found walking towards his car with a crowbar and a bag containing the remains of 2 small children, 3 skulls, and other bones. That's really awful. Disturbing the dead is one of the It's just the unspoken rule of like humans that you don't do that. It's almost it's almost taboo, right? The crimes against dead people. It's almost like the worst of the worst. And this guy hanging them in his home. Like, why? He was like basically hanging parts of remains, including full skeletons, in his home. Ed Gein, yeah, very similar to Ed Gein or Ed Gein or however you want to pronounce it. Yeah, this Jonathan Gerlach. I mean, this guy will forever be known as a grave robber. Awful, awful guy. Let's see. According to the court documents, he was prying open underground vaults. Hold on. He was prying open underground vaults and removing human remains dating back more than a century, and they have confirmed now that he was selling some of them online. Ugh. They're saying here the first burglary occurred on November 7, and apparently cops were called and found that certain mausoleums had been broken into, and it was the Hunter family mausoleum. And they're saying marble flooring was destroyed, crypts had been exposed, and remains had been missing. All right, I want to play this press conference to you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tanner Rouse. I'm the District Attorney of Delaware County, and we are here today because of the arrest of 34-year-old Jonathan Gerlach of Ephrata, Pennsylvania. Over the course of the last several weeks, detectives from Yeadon Borough as well as Delaware County CID became aware that from November of 2025 up until 2 days ago, January of 2026, Mount Moriah Cemetery had been burglarized by, at that point, an unknown individual. 26 separate mausoleums and or underground burial sites had been torn into and, for lack of a better word, desecrated. Investigation took place. Yeadon deserves a hell of a lot of credit on this for doing good old-fashioned police work, going through LPRs, tracking physical evidence, piecing together a suspect, cooperating with CID. We developed that suspect. We laid in wait, and we eventually watched and caught Mr. Gerlach as he desecrated yet another monument as recently as 2 days ago. He was taken into custody. Search warrants were executed at his home in Ephrata, where over 100 human skeletons were recovered. And that's in part, at this point, we are still trying to figure out how many of those are complete and what exactly we are looking at. A separate storage locker was found to be in Mr. Gerlach's possession. That also was in Ephrata. We found there 8 more human remains. Very simply, detectives have recovered an awful lot of bones at this point, and we are still trying to piece together who they are, where they are from, and how many we are looking at, and it's going to be quite some time before we have a final answer.
You know, digging up remains that are over 100 years old, you better be careful you don't catch some sort of disease that, I don't know, like you shouldn't touch remains anyway because they can give you like diseases and things like that. Not only you shouldn't touch them because you should be respectful and let let dead people rest, but like you think of the germs and the grossness and all sorts of like diseases that have gone through the countries over the years, in the wars, before the wars, things that we didn't have cures for. I mean, and this guy was living with them in his home. He had them hung up in his home. Ugh. I mean, over 100 years old, a lot of them. Yeah, smallpox, possibly. By the way, thank you for the donation. I will put that towards the to the trial for Patrick Oren Stevenson. I will put that directly towards it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And you have a good weekend too. Tell us about your pizza night when you come back on Sunday night. Have fun on your Saturday night. And on Sunday night, come back and tell us how your family dinner went for your birthday. I hope you have a good birthday with your family. Yeah, but if you have, like, I mean, all it takes, I'll give you an example. I was watching a documentary. Do you remember that young kid that went missing in Spain? And he went to a rave in Spain, and then he went missing, and they couldn't find him, and he had fallen down a mountain, and they found his remains like a month later. Those doctors did an autopsy in Spain, but then they sent the remains back to the UK for a secondary autopsy to be done. Now, his remains had been out in the sun for over a month. There wasn't a lot left in the. You imagine how hot Spain is in summer. And yeah, British boy. And the people doing the autopsy in the UK, they were like, careful, don't cut yourself on any of the bones. They're like, you could get all sorts of diseases. And when I think of that, I think of this guy robbing graves with no protection, no anything, and then hanging them up in his house. This guy needs a blood test. He needs to be checked over medically so we don't bring back an ancient disease from like 100 years ago. I mean, I'm sure most of it is probably like dead via time, but you never know. Sometimes science, germs and things survive a lot longer than we think. Yeah, he is definitely a madman for sure. Definitely. Um, yeah, gross. This guy. Why would you rob graves? I mean, it's one thing to be a little dark and a little kooky and a little gothy and like the undead or whatever, or the, dead people and bones and stuff. That's fine. There's ways that you can do that in your life, you know, like in society, and people will accept it. Not like this. Not like this. That is, it's vulgar. It's really vulgar to do that to people, especially babies. Apparently, some of these babies that he broke into, they were only days old when they died. Could you imagine how distressing that would be to the family? That you robbed the grave of their child who did not survive more than a few days after childbirth. I mean, that's a horrible thing to do to a family. But he's on a lot of charges. Over 100 counts of abuse of a corpse, 100 counts of theft, 100 counts of receiving stolen property, 26 counts of desecration of a public monument, 26 counts of desecration of a venerated object, 26 counts of desecration of historic lots and burial places, 26 counts of criminal mischief, 7 counts of defiant trespasser, 26 counts of burglary, 52 counts of criminal trespassing. He is being held on a $1 million bail. He's expected to be in court on January 20 to face the charges from this arrest.
He is now arrested. Bail has been set at $1 million cash by Judge Williams. He is in on 26 counts of burglary, criminal trespass, and a host of other offenses. Kelly Wilson, who's handling our media affairs, is going to pass out a complaint so that you guys have the complete list of charges at your disposal. Very simply, detectives walked into a horror movie come to life the other night, guys. This is an unbelievable scene that no one involved, from myself to the detectives to the medical examiners that are now trying to piece together what they are looking at, quite literally. None of them have ever seen anything like this before. When I was 16 years old, a friend of mine was killed in a car accident, and I personally have visited his gravesite, as many people do when they lose a loved one. I know his parents have also visited that site. I cannot imagine what it would put them through to know that someone like this guy had dug up those remains and was doing God knows what with them. It is truly, in the most literal sense of the word, horrific.
I agree. And I'm so worried about not only the other remains, but I hope they can track down where they go because, like he said, some of them have been broken up, some of them are only partial remains, some of them have been sold. They're all over the place, and some of them are not complete. So, trying to put them back where they belong, this could be like a 10-year thing, and I'm not joking. Over 100 sets of remains. It could be a 10-year operation just to return these people back to their rightful resting place. It could take that long. And I'm sure there's families out there that have no idea this has happened, and they are going to get a phone call over the next period of time and get told that their loved one was removed from their final resting place and found in this jerk off's home. This guy, we talk about some of the most horrible people on earth. This guy might have taken the cake. This guy, we've talked about some really horrific people that have done some really horrible things. This guy might be in the top 10. This guy might be there. What an absolute fuckwit this guy is. Sorry about the swear word. I couldn't think of another word. Here's his photo. He needs a blood test. They need to scan him for every disease known to man. And yeah, I hope he never gets out of jail. There's money in bones. I know that, but there's legal ways to do that. There's actually stores that sell them. There's a place in San Francisco called the Bone Room, and you can buy legally certain bones that have been treated. They've been, they're ancient. They've been used for medical or whatever, and now they've been put on a secondary market for sale. There are ways you could do that and express that interest in a healthier way than doing it like this. Need to get Bones and the team in. There you go with the innuendo. JDR, hey JDR, good to see you, my friend. To me, he's up there with serial killers. Yeah, I agree with you. Gail said, yeah, but he wanted money fast. It's like, do you remember there was that place in Florida? There was a place in Florida that was selling bones, and they got arrested for doing it in Florida. We read about the story like a year ago. Hold on. Florida. And she said she found them at grave sites. At grave, like at cemeteries. She'd just walk around and find bits of bone on the ground. But if you don't remember her, I'll take you out to it so you guys can see it. But she was arrested for buying and selling bones, and she is from a place called Wicked Wonderland in Florida, if I remember correctly. Here's a photo of her. I'll put up a photo. This was her right now. I mean, not right now, but back when it happened. What is Investigative TV Plus? Never heard of it. Hold on. Do you guys know what this is? I've never seen this before. What is this? Investigative TV Plus. It won't let me play it. I've never seen this before, and I use news sites in America every day. What is that? But yeah, this is her. She was arrested for selling human bones on Facebook Marketplace. She was 52, charged with purchasing or selling human organs or tissue. And they're saying that she had a store or business called Wicked Wonderland and was advertising human bones for sale on Facebook Marketplace. She had two human skull fragments being sold for $90. A human clavicle and scapula were being sold for $90. A human rib was being sold for $35. A human vertebra was being sold for $35. A partial human skull was being sold for $600. And that when she was questioned by police, she said the bones were educational models, but testing determined the bones were real. She ended up being released on a $7,500 bond. What happened to her after that? I don't know. I never saw an update, and there is not one online.
In Volusia County, this woman is now facing charges after police say she bought and sold human bones. Orange City police say Kimberly Shopper, the owner of Wicked Wonderland, knowingly purchased and offered human bones for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Police say that this has been an ongoing investigation since December of 2023. Officials said they met with Shopper. She claimed that the bones were educational models, which would protect their sale under state law. However, that's not the case. She was taken into custody Thursday and released on bond yesterday. Shopper is facing charges of trading in human tissue.
There you go. So she tried to do it a different way and got arrested. At least she wasn't out there grave robbing people and removing their babies from their final resting place. So people do it all around the country, apparently. There she is, Kimberly Shopper. And where's our guy? Where's Mr. Creepy? Jonathan Galach. He even has a name that sounds like someone would do that. What's your name? Jonathan Galach. What do you do? Oh, I grave rob. Oh, that sounds about right. Apparently, he had a Facebook page. Here, look. Human Bones and Skull Selling Group. And he had a skull here. And he said he had a possible teen now in the collection and a baboon and a monkey that was part a human skin bag. Ugh. And he's saying here that they believe this was a teenager who died. So he robbed a grave of a teenager. Terrible. I don't know what is up with them selling on Facebook. I guess they think Facebook is invisible to law enforcement when it's really not. And they search there all the time for people to arrest. So not invisible, not invisible. I'll bring you more on Jonathan Galach when he goes to court on January 20. But I wonder what is the highest count that he can get done with? Desecration, criminal mischief. I think it would have to be the counts of abuse of a corpse. I'd have to think that's the highest. The highest thing. Hold on. Pennsylvania. Let's have a look. What's the highest like sentence you can get for this? So for that one, it's 2 years in prison, but he's got 100 charges of it. I'm not sure how that would work, but he could be sentenced to serve it consecutively. Hey, Lemon Curd, plot actual route? Yeah. Good to see you, by the way. Who else was here? I think we saw Gail as well. Hey, Gail. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Callie says, specialized in creating serial killer trophy dolls. Maybe that's what he's been doing, selling it to Dexter. You might be right. I'm not sure where if people want to know where the mausoleum was located, it's Mount Moriah in Yeadon. Apparently, it dates back hundreds of years. I can show it to you for people who want to know. It's here. This is the cemetery. It's very, very old, apparently. And he was sneaking in here and robbing it to the point where the people at the cemetery knew someone was coming in here and robbing it, and they basically set up a sting operation to try and get him. Let's have a look. There you go. There's the graveyard, but they've also got a mausoleum area as well, like a you guys know what a mausoleum looks like. I don't think we can go in though. I don't think we can go in. I'm very surprised that there's a Google Maps thing for the footpath. It's really trippy. Yeah, we can't go in, unfortunately.
That sounds like a whimsical, poetic image.
What?
Are you referring to a specific song, or would you like me to write a short poem about Max cheering for a match?
What? What are you talking about? Bloody phone? What was that about? A whimsical story about singing for a map. What are you talking about? My phone is possessed. Every now and then it just turns on Gemini and just starts rattling off things. My new phone that I got just is not it's not normal. It just opens itself up and activates every now and then. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Mausoleums are up there. You can see some in the background. So that's where he was sneaking off to. Um, Good night, Deborah. Good night. I hit you, people. You did, my friend? All right. Let me check before you go so I can say thank you. Oh, Donna, I see it. Thank you very much. It's very generous. You are very, very kind. You did not have to be that generous, but I appreciate it. Thank you. I will put that towards going to the trial for Patrick Oren Stevenson in April. And I don't want to use this person's full name. So I'll just say RMS. RMS, thank you very much. You also are extremely generous. And again, yeah, all money will go towards going to that trial in April, like we did with Aaron Patterson. And we'll see what happened to Samantha Murphy in April. It'll be a good trial, and hopefully we'll see the evidence of what they have to be able to arrest someone with no body. And I think it'll be worth the time and effort to go to that one. So thank you to you guys. I appreciate it. And to Sean, like always, I'm very appreciative. And to Montana, that's very generous as well. Donna as well here. She did two tonight. I appreciate you guys. And Lisa, she wants me to have Aussie pizza. All right, I will tomorrow. And Moonlight View for giving some memberships to people. It's very kind. Hey Robbie, how are you, my friend? Hope your recovery is going well. I hope you're up and walking about now. Gail said, I used to sit and go to my granddad's grave and do my homework when I was young. I guess it would be a quiet place. I don't know if I could do that, but yeah, I wanted to write me a story. How weird, right? All right, we better close up for the night. We'll have more stories tomorrow. Tomorrow Trisha's not on, which means I will be on a lot earlier, thank God. And we'll get to hang out for a lot more time because we won't get to like 2 a.m. in the morning. JDR said, I love cemeteries. There is a certain one I go to and see my friend's grave. It's also a nice place to meditate. Do you get in trouble for just sitting there? Are you allowed to do that? I can't say I've ever been to a cemetery. Robbie said, sorry, I am late. That's okay, my friend. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I really do. All right, we better wrap it up for tonight. I feel bad. Robbie just got here and we're like, see you later. We're out of here. Bye. But yeah, we should. It's almost 6:30 in the evening in Australia. I will see you tomorrow. We will have some fun tomorrow night. Mrs. Ping finally printed out the things we need to make the Kit Kat cabin. So we may sit down tomorrow night and actually do that because Mrs. Ping is very antsy about getting it done. She wants to have it done. She's like, I want to make the cabin and then eat the Kit Kat. So she wants to do it. So she printed out all the things we need to because you have to melt the chocolate and then trace a thing to make windows and a door and stuff like that. So it's 5:30 real time in Queensland. It is, yeah. All right, I love you guys. Have a great night out there. Thank you to all the generous people. I appreciate it. It'll be a good trial. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll all learn something, and hopefully see some justice done for Samantha Murphy. Because God, I hope they can find her. Imagine being that your family. You're going to go to a trial for a guy accused of killing your wife and your mum, but they've never found your mum slash wife. They've never located her, but they think they have the guy who did it. That must be very hard for that family. And yeah, we're going to go to that trial and bring you all the latest from it every day again. All right. I love you all. Have a great day tomorrow. If you're in the cold parts of the world, stay warm out there. I know it's freezing in the UK and Europe and the USA. I know it gets really cold at the moment. So enjoy your winter while I melt here in Australia where it's too warm. Good night, everyone. Bye.